The plane that returned after 30 years. In the history of aviation, there are many strange stories. But one legend stands out as one of the most disturbing mysteries ever told. It is the story of a plane that disappeared and returned 30 years later. No distress signal, no crash site, no explanation. Just silence. In the early 1950s, a commercial passenger plane took off on what was supposed to be a routine flight. The weather was clear, the aircraft was in perfect condition, and the passengers were ordinary people traveling for work, family, or vacation. Minutes after takeoff, the plane vanished from radar. Air traffic control tried to make contact. There was no response. Search teams were deployed immediately. Planes, ships, and radar stations searched the area for weeks, but no wreckage was ever found. Eventually, the case was closed. The plane was officially declared lost. All passengers and crew were presumed dead, and time moved on. 30 years later, something impossible happened. At a small airport, air traffic controllers suddenly detected an unknown aircraft entering their airspace. The signal code matched an old registration number, a registration number that had not been active for decades. At first, they thought it was a technical error, but then the plane appeared. An old model aircraft, perfectly intact, slowly descended and landed on the runway. No emergency announcement, no sign of damage. It landed as if nothing had ever happened. Airport authorities rushed toward the plane. The doors opened. Inside were the passengers and crew, alive. They looked confused, but otherwise normal. No signs of aging, no signs of illness. For them, the flight had not lasted 30 years. It had lasted only a few hours. When questioned, the pilot reportedly said something chilling. According to the story, he claimed they experienced strange turbulence. The sky turned dark. The instruments stopped working for a moment. Then everything returned to normal. They continued flying and prepared to land, believing they were only slightly delayed. They had no idea that 3 decades had passed on Earth. Medical examinations made the mystery even deeper. The passengers' biological age matched the day they disappeared. Clothes, documents, and even newspapers they carried were from the original year of departure. Nothing suggested a hoax. Nothing made sense. Soon, government officials became involved. The airport was sealed. The plane was moved to a secure location. The passengers were taken away for further evaluation. And then, the story went quiet. No official press conference, no final explanation, just rumors. Some versions of the legend claim the passengers were never seen again. Others say the plane itself disappeared once more, this time forever. But why? One theory suggests time distortion. Some scientists believe that under extreme conditions, aircraft could enter areas where time behaves differently. A place where minutes inside could equal decades outside. A kind of natural time bubble. Others believe the explanation is darker. Another theory claims the plane entered a parallel dimension, a reality similar to ours, but separated by time itself. When it returned, it crossed back into our world, years too late. And then there is the most unsettling theory of all, that the passengers were not supposed to return, that something went wrong, and whatever came back was not entirely human. Skeptics argue that no official aviation records confirm this event, no verified documents, no physical evidence released to the public. They say it is nothing more than an urban legend passed from generation to generation. But believers ask one simple question. If this story is fake, why does it exist in so many different countries, told in so many similar ways? Even today, pilots report strange phenomena, missing time, frozen instruments, unexplained lights in the sky, and every time a plane disappears without a trace, people remember this story. The plane that left and came back 30 years later. Maybe it never happened. Or maybe Some doors in the sky should never be opened.